Up next is our finale, Shadow and Light. That's an old band I haven't heard in a while, dude. All the way. This is epic, dude. It makes me want more, dude. When's the next album? And a fade out at the end of the album. That's how you end an album, like I said so many times. That's how you end an album. A fade out. Or just end it, whatever. Really, really cool track, man. I like that. It was like an epic finale, dude. Epic finale to a debut album. That is honestly gonna get a pretty good fucking rating. Let's get to this review. Plus picks. My 3 favorites on the album. God, there's a lot of good songs on this album, man. For only being 10 songs, it's really good. But I think I'm going to probably have to give number 1 to The Voiceless. This track, dude, was insane. Especially the breakdown in it with John. Oh, dude. That shit was so fucking killer. Listen to this. Yeah! That's fucking killer, dude. That was really good. I like that. That's definitely the best track on this album. What else did I like? I really liked Unbreakable. Really awesome chorus. The verse kind of, I don't know. The verse really didn't really appeal to me, but the chorus was really good, and that's what kind of pulled me in that track. And yeah, definitely going on the list. And I think I'm gonna give the third one to Deceiver Believer. The title track is the best ballad on this album, in my personal opinion. It's really good. I like it. It's a really good track. I love the harmonizing that John does with his vocals on this. The guitar composition, the drums, everything about this track is just pure gold. I love this track. Album MVP. You know what? There's a lot of y'all that are like really killing it on your fucking instruments. But I think the album MVP for this album is gonna go to John Howard. Dude, his screams and his vocalizations, his harmonizations that he does is just insane. It's always been insane. I've been a Threat Signal fan for fucking God knows how long. 2005, 2006, I can't remember. It's when they released their first album. I got hooked on them. As I Destruct was the very first song I ever listened to, and then the rest is fucking history. I hope I can buy a vinyl soon. But Yeah, I'm giving it to John Howard for sure. Similarities. So a couple followers in my community mentioned that it had Mechana vibes. It definitely did have Mechana vibes in this. 2 of the tracks in here have Mechana vibes, so we're gonna have to throw it in there. Mechana. Number 2, Cyber. Dude, the synths and the guitars reminded me of Drop, and just the synths and Cyber really bring off that Cyber vibe, and I'm gonna give it to Cyber. Number 3, Nemec. It has Nemec vibes. It's very fucking extreme. He does his fucking fries like Michael does, and fucking rest in peace Gilliam does. But yeah, Nemec is on there. Number 4, gonna get the Machine Head, dude. Machine Head has this groove element to it, and yeah, I really felt that was a pretty big component to this band. I think that listeners of Machine Head would enjoy this album. And finally, number 5, I'm gonna have to give it to. Altogether, I feel that there's a big Mushroomhead vibe in this album as well. With the panning vocals, the composition of the guitars, the synths. Yeah, it brings off that. That Mushroomhead vibe, especially like early Mushroomhead 13. Mushroomhead is one of my favorite bands, and I actually covered a Mushroomhead song with 2 of my supporters. And that's what I have to talk to you about later, Nathan. But they are one of my all-time favorite bands in the industrial era. Yeah, M3. So sound like M3 and 13 kind of vibes with this album, especially the guitars and the synths, for sure. Genre. This album is metalcore. It is a metalcore album. I definitely hear it in the music. So we're gonna have to give it to metalcore. I'm talking old metalcore. I'm not talking about this new crap metalcore that we got today. What do they call it? Octane core. But yeah, OG metalcore for sure. Number 2, I gotta give it to groove metal. It has a really nice groove to it. This whole album does, and I feel like, yeah, Pantera, Lamb of God, Machine Head, all those bands are groove metal bands. So definitely groove metal. Number 3, it's Cyber, dude. This is a Cyber album. It sounds like it is. At least the synths do. It reminds me of the interlude and the intro really brought out that Cyber vibe, like the Mechana stuff. Really cool. I like that. And number 4, Extreme. We're gonna go with Extreme. Yeah, it has that Nemec, Cybreed kind of vibes going on with it. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Psychode a little bit. There was some parts in here that remind me of Psychode. So yeah, Extreme is definitely on that list. And finally, Gent. I feel like it's kind of a Gent album too. It has some Gent elements in it. So we'll go ahead and give it to Gent for their final. The implication. What do I think this is about? So let's look at the album cover real quick. The album cover is displaying an angel with her hands wrapped around this circle. Fantastic album artwork. Looks like there's a priest, or sorry, it's a bishop. It might be Pontius Pilate because Jesus is on the cross right behind him. And then you have Michael the Archangel on the left. Then you have, it looks like Mephisto on the bottom. Or is it? No, those are scales. He's carrying scales. So it might be like the one, like the Anubis or something. I don't know. I feel that this album is about the coming deception in the world. It will come one day. Humans will believe it's the actual coming of Christ when it's not. The Bible tells you it's not. The first coming of Christ is the deceit. It is the deception. Christ will come after the Antichrist. Remember that. But I feel like this is it's an album that kind of goes along the lines of Deceiver Believer. Yeah, Deceiver. The humans will be deceived to believe that this is Christ when it's not Christ. Hell, for all I know, the Christ that we worship, that I worship, could not even be the real Christ. But I know in my heart that Jesus is real. I don't know for sure if he, if that was him on the cross, or if people worship the right God. But I know in my heart that Jesus is a real person. He was a real person. He died for our sins. But I feel like a lot of humanity is going to be deceived in the future into following the wrong Christ. And that will be the end times. It speaks of the end times. All right, that's what I feel. All right, my rating. This is their debut album. There was 2 tracks in here really didn't bring off that wow me vibe. So I'm gonna give them a decent rating. Fear by Design, a little bit too low on the end of the spectrum for a limiting purpose. I don't know who mastered this. Maybe the limiting. You didn't put the mastered version on here or something. I don't know. The limiting on this was pretty low. Ancient Sky just didn't really have that wow factor. So that being said, that's 2 tracks you're down. There was 1 track in here where it was a fade out with guitar. I kind of have to count that one. I'm going to give this an 8.3 out of 10. It's an honest rating. Debut album, pretty good. I liked it. Thanks for putting this in, Glenn. Glenn was the one to put this in on Patreon. But yeah. Oh, I forgot to say. The album discography, the discography of Devolution is Deceiver Believe. And I have to edit that at the beginning of the video. But anyways, thank you guys for joining us. Now, Nate, as always, there will be another album reaction. And I haven't set up my events. But I think we're going to do Conflict. Conflict, Transform into a Human, is going to be our next album reaction. We'll see you guys there. Peace!